Everyone. Here I wanted to discuss recent historically tragic developments and statements by the German government with respect to supporting the war in the Ukraine and Germany's role in the EU. First of all, the German so-called traffic light Ampel coalition, red, yellow and green, is a nice example of how negative selection gets the least qualified people to run a country. Interestingly, part of the 2021 election, specifically the Berlin city government, was ordered by court to be rerun due to voting irregularities, and that may also affect 1 or 2 seats in the national parliament. This puts the German government on shaky grounds. A recent controversial decision by this government was to send German tanks, the Leopard 2, to the Ukraine to fight Russia, and also to give permission to other countries, such as Poland, to do the same with the German weapons. There are at least 2 issues with the decision. First, it is against the German constitution, the so-called Grundgesetz, as it violates the ceasefire, as we don't have a peace treaty. With respect to the former occupant, the Soviet Union, with Russia as the largest descendant. Second, it is a break of the Green Party's election promise not to send weapons to war zones. Such a promise was made in elections as recent as in autumn 2021. Here we want to understand better what drives these people to make such far-reaching decisions so detrimental to the German people. And we will use body language analysis for this purpose, as this is a way to understand the truth, since words can easily be manipulated or controlled. Let's get started. First, Chancellor Olaf Scholz from the Social Democratic Party. Interestingly, he was involved in the Cum-Ex tax fraud scandal, where traders claimed rebates on taxes they never paid, costing taxpayers billions. Back then, Olaf Scholz was the mayor of Hamburg, and he had meetings with banks involved. But now somehow, miraculously, does not remember what was discussed. Here he is in German parliament, calming people down, as now Germany is officially a war party.
Ein Wort zum Schluss. Es gibt in diesem Land viele Bürgerinnen und Bürger, die sich Sorgen machen. Auch angesichts einer solchen Entscheidung und angesichts der Dimensionen, die diese Waffe mit sich bringt.
So he's saying he understands that people are worried about the delivery of the weapon, the tank.
Und deshalb möchte ich diesen Bürgerinnen und Bürgern hier und an dieser Stelle sagen: Vertrauen Sie mir, vertrauen Sie der Bundesregierung.
So he just says that people should trust him and the German government.
Wir werden weiter, weil wir international abgestimmt handeln, sicherstellen, dass diese Unterstützung möglich ist, ohne dass die Risiken für unser Land darüber in eine falsche Richtung wachsen.
Okay, we see him very calm, slick in his shiny suit. We see also the new defense minister, Boris Pistorius, and her as well. So both have their hands folded, they're nodding along, they look very serious, the thin, compressed lips. They look dead serious, knowing very well the seriousness of the decisions. Let's look at this again for a second.
Es gibt in diesem Land viele Bürgerinnen und Bürger, die sich Sorgen machen. Auch
so they're nodding here, yeah, you see both nodding and the hands folded.
Angesichts einer solchen Entscheidung und angesichts der Dimensionen, die diese Waffe mit sich bringt.
So there's no hesitation, no signs of deception. He actually seems to believe what he's saying. Personally, I think he's completely brainwashed, like the Manchurian Candidate. Otherwise, I think you wouldn't be able to do this performance. So you must through and through believe what you're saying. You see, he seems also completely calm, which is very unusual, I think, for such important, far-reaching statements. And there's an issue here. I'm saying this also because he uses his right hand to touch the microphone repeatedly. Actually, he's just putting his fingers together and he's not even adjusting the microphone, but he's moving his hands towards the microphone. And as this is an anchor used for grounding, for confident public speaking. So note also, he doesn't have a teleprompter. So the trick here is that you think of something which is extremely calming, like you're something really positive. You pretend you're on cloud 7, completely relaxed, and then you repeatedly make this hand movement. And this is then a trigger, so whenever later you make this during a more stressful situation, it immediately calms you down and you feel immediately relaxed.
Zum Schluss. Es gibt in diesem Land viele Bürgerinnen und
So you saw how he moved his hand here. He basically did not move the microphone.
Bürger, die sich Sorgen machen. Auch angesichts einer solchen Entscheidung und angesichts der Dimensionen, die diese Waffe mit sich bringt. Und deshalb möchte ich diesen Bürgerinnen und Bürgern hier und an dieser Stelle sagen: Vertrauen Sie mir, vertrauen Sie der Bundesregierung. Wir werden weiter, weil wir international abgestimmt handeln, sicherstellen, dass diese Unterstützung möglich ist, ohne dass die Risiken für unser Land darüber in eine falsche Richtung wachsen. Das ist, warum wir das so tun, und so werden wir es auch weiter.
Here again. So he's certainly a well-trained speaker, and I'm sure he receives constant coaching with a team of people cocooning him from the surroundings. He's in his own little world on cloud 7, and he's so brainwashed that he actually believes it. So he can tell lies without knowing he's telling lies.
Und so werden wir es auch weitermachen.
So in the end, he's turning away and he's looking down and he's compressing his lips like that. This is a sign of guilt and shame and regret. So here there might be a brief moment where his inner moral compass is shining through for a short moment in evading the brainwashing. So his inner monologue might be, "My comrades of the Socialist Union Party, with immense effort we will defeat the people's enemy for peace and socialism. We know what's good for you. We know it better than you do. Hail Honecker." Next, Annalena Baerbock from the Green Party, Germany's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Regarding her CV, she was accused of plagiarism and exaggeration. For instance, she claimed she was a member of certain organizations, such as the Transatlantic German Marshall Fund and the UNHCR, which she wasn't. And she also did not finish her studies at the University of Hamburg and the prestigious London School of Economics. She only has a bachelor from Hamburg. Here she is in the EU Parliament, stating that Germany is at war with Russia.
And therefore, I've said already in the last days, yes, we have to do more to defend Ukraine. Yes, we have to do more also on tanks. But the most important and the crucial part is that we do it together and that we do not do the blame game in Europe, because we are fighting a war against Russia and not against each other. Thank you.
So most typical for her is that she closes her eyes and she tosses her head in the end to the left. It's a bit like a hair flick, which some people do. This is like a narcissistic statement, like a sign displaying arrogance. But it's not just arrogance, it's often used specifically by girls and sorority-type teenagers to signal superiority. So let's look at this again at the end.
Fighting a war against Russia and not against each other. Thank you.
Yeah, so she turned away and closed her eyes and signaling that she's done now with talking to them, and she made her point. Her inner monologue might be, "Look at me, I'm so pretty and special. My mom always said I'm special, and she was right. And here I show you all. I'm so much better than you. Even though I don't have a proper degree, I'm special and I'm so pretty." So finally, Robert Habeck from the Green Party, who is now the Minister of Economy, Energy and Climate Protection. In an interview, he claims that German people don't exist and hence that there is no treason against the German people. In terms of his qualifications, he has a PhD in literature and wrote some children's books and 6 novels with his wife. Here we see him at the recent World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, daydreaming of the United States of Europe.
Coming back to what the Prime Minister said, in an ideal European world, my idea would be that we have a common European fiscal policy, not only money policy, but also fiscal policy. But
okay, let's go to the beginning. So he's sitting next to Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the huge, massive global investment company, and he is spread out, signaling confidence. And here's the German Minister of Economy, Energy and Climate Protection sitting at the end of it's the last seat, at the edge of the seat, bending forward, crouching. This is the least important seat, and he's folded up. He's also doing the turtling, where he pulls up his shoulders and pulls his head down like a turtle, trying to protect himself, being fearful, making himself small. And he uses these small hand gestures and very awkward German sentence structures. Let's look at this again.
Coming back to what the Prime Minister said, in an ideal European world, my idea would be that we have a common European fiscal policy, not only money policy, but also fiscal policy, but this we don't have. And therefore, of course, national economies, national states.
So he makes these very small hand movements and his shoulders are high up and his head is far down. so ducking down.
National ministries for economic affairs are doing their job in a way, and I would like to add in brackets.
And then when he said eyes, he made himself taller. So for a short moment, he gained some confidence. And then he used some illustrators to signal the little brackets, making himself again very small.
In an ideal European world, my idea is
here again, he made himself larger when he was talking about himself for a short moment.
that one day or the other we have a common federal
And now he's crouching again.
European Republic, but brackets closed. This is not for today. Coming back to what the Prime Minister said.
He should ask the German people first. So here's his inner monologue. Down with the stupid Germans. The Germans did bad things. And I never worked through my own family's issues. So I simply must repeat history. What can I do? My CIA handler says I'm fully right. And this was further confirmed by NATO headquarters. So I'm right, am I not? So in summary, we see foreign-controlled government officials who clearly do not have the best interests of the German people in mind. We see a surprisingly confident, slick Olaf Scholz. Otherwise, he looks like an accountant, and he was a finance minister of the previous government. He still seems to be sleeping well over his decisions to send tanks. And then we see a mindless, tactless Annalena Baerbock. She's a little bit slow and not the brightest, but I don't think she's just blurting it out. I think she just forgot that she's recorded at that moment and that this is the kind of language they use behind closed doors anyway to discuss stuff. So the war and all this stuff, what's probably coming, is all long planned anyway. And I think she just forgot that actual people listening to her. I think in a way they're all completely detached from reality. They're cocooned in their own bubble. They're protected by maybe CIA handlers, big teams, shielding them, surrounding them, so they don't really know what's going on in the real world anymore. And, their egos are fed by people higher up and using them for their agenda. And they eagerly try to please them. I think they all live in their own little fantasy world. They're probably all fed certain propaganda lies and they're very brainwashed. So coming back to the title of the video, I think the decisions made will have such far-reaching consequences that very likely we will see major historic events taking place soon. But I think if we stay focused in good spirits and in connection to the people around us, I think we are quite protected and we have a good chance to get through this well. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked my little analysis and do let me know your comments below the video. So talk to you next time. Bye.